It's the Real Podcast, starring Nick Brecken. Ba-da-da-da, ba-ba-ba-ba. He's happy. Look at him. Happy Nick. A rare sight. Nick Brecken.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-boo-da-ba. Idle Thumbs. Games, video 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 games, video. Video games.
Before. It's 10:09 p.m.
This is Idle Thumbs 117. I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
Whoa! Unclear whether this is Jake Rodkin.
It's me. Christ.
Welcome to our podcast.
I'm so glad you're here. I have many questions to
Sean
ask you.
Vanneman couldn't make it this week because his leg is still broken.
Right.
We're joined by a very special guest, the King of
Our
Kings.
Lord and Savior, Jake Rodkin.
Hi. Hello.
Hey.
It's me, Jake.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
Speaking of kings,
Yeah.
we just played Sir You're Being Hunted.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
After approximately 15 to 20 hours of Crusader Kings stream, some huge, just despicable number.
Right.
We thought it would be good to play a different game for 40 minutes on our Twitch channel, which meant that the beginning of the chat was people like, What's this? Who are
Yeah,
this?
I don't
Is other
see any
saves? I don't.
Crusader Kings
This isn't
inside
a map
this game.
of Ireland that's zooming in and out.
yeah.
Yeah, we played some
Nobody
Crusader
knows
Kings.
what it means when we play games that aren't that anymore.
I mean, we played Sir You're Being Hunted.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So first off, obviously you can check it out at twitch.tv/idlethumbs or on our YouTube channel within the next...
YouTube.com/idle videos.
Yep. Chris, I made you play it because I played it last episode. I don't know, what number one takeaway, it's apparently scary as fuck when a robot chases you somewhere, as evidenced by us being children 3 times or 4 in the stream. But I don't know.
Yeah. We had 2 really good moments, it felt like.
Yeah.
And
Both of which were us just running away from robots.
Right, which is what you expect.
Yeah,
Sure.
when you're being hunted.
but-
you are being hunted after all,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Although there were a few times where we weren't being hunted, we were just being shot and killed. Right? I mean, like the 2 moments that were,
that's-
that
Sir,
were
you were being
describing
brutally
the actual,
fucking murdered
the
by
actual
robots.
hunting were the moments that felt like, yeah,
Like when you're hiding behind something and you know that they saw you at some point, but you're not quite sure if they still
Right.
know where you are. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Those are
yeah,
good moments.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting game. It's very sparse, which I don't know. Obviously accentuates the moments that are not.
Yeah.
But
it's
I don't know. I didn't play it, so I don't know what it felt like really. But
Yeah.
it seemed like the stuff that you'd want, like those binoculars were cool. Like I like the art style. I think it's like I wasn't,
Oh, I think it looks
wasn't sure
nice.
if I would like it, but I think in motion it works really
You
well.
brought up World of Warcraft, which I thought was a really astute comparison because I hadn't placed that when I was playing it, but you're totally right. Not because it actually you'd confuse it for actual World of Warcraft,
Right.
but there's a certain attitude to the way environmental elements are kind of highlighted that reminds me of that game. Like the thing that I liked most about World of Warcraft when I played it, was the way that the environments were distinct from one another and like the choices specifically they made to distinguish the environments.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of games that are more kind of traditionally rendered don't have that same feeling of like really distinct areas.
Right.
And this
a lot of people describe it as like a cartoony thing, but I don't think that's what it is. It's just
because there's a lot of games that are more explicitly cartoony that don't have that character to them.
no. It's just it's distinct in the way that a Pixar film is distinct or something, where it's a very like I don't really know how to describe it.
It's almost like a light caricature or something.
Yeah,
Like, it's hard to explain, but some of those elements were present in this game. I thought to pretty good effect.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. It seems like that dog chased you. That was cool.
Yeah, well, the dog chased me, and then the dog seemed to get
that was actually
shot.
great.
Yeah, it was great.
The dog pinned you to the ground and was starting to bite you, and then its face just blew off. I think because a robot
was shooting at me and hit
killed
with a shotgun.
Hound,
yeah, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I got killed as soon after that, but that's
you were
fine.
then murdered. Yeah. Seeing you play it sort of confirmed, I guess, what I was thinking about last week, which is just. I know this is an early build of the game, like it's alpha release 0.43 or something, and it's really hard to tell right now for me how much of the sort of scarcity of events and the sparseness is deliberate, and how much of it is just they don't have all the different types of encounters that they want, and they don't have everything dialed in the way that they want, because some of that sparseness is great, but then you still find yourself like
you can go a long time without anything particular.
We had like 5 minutes maybe, or it probably felt like 5, but it was more like 3. But we had a really extended period of time where there was just nothing. There were no new waypoints on the map. There were no
there's nothing to grab.
No guys. There's nothing to pick up. It was just world, and
it's because there aren't any. There's only one category of goal, which is find those stones. Like there's the general overriding goal of survival, which encompasses within itself scavenging and things, but those are kind of incidental. They're opportunistic for the most part, whereas stuff that you're actually attempting to achieve is kind of just find these stones that could be absolutely anywhere.
Look for smoke, go there.
So it means that you can kind of you can luck out and a bunch of interesting stuff can happen, or the opposite can happen and just sort of you end up in kind of a dead zone for a while, which is the kind of thing that, it's a challenge in a game like this, which is, it has a lot of procedural generation and which is very open-ended and player-driven, but not very kind of gameplay dense.
Yep.
It's as opposed to something like Stalker, which has a lot more overlapping systems kind of going all the time, which feels like it was an influence on this game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a tall order for a small indie team to make a big sort of sprawling thing like this and then also make it super dense. So I wonder if they, Jake, to your point, I wonder if they have an intention for that, or if it's just, or I just don't know. It's so early that it's hard to say.
In those places where we just hit those big empty areas, if the intent is that you feel, if you are supposed to feel more safe there, like I just don't know enough about how the robots work. Like I feel like even in those empty areas, I didn't want to stop and do other stuff. But like if that space was, I guess, where you're supposed to like trap animals or set things on fire or heal yourself or build a thing or like who the hell knows? There's just yeah. Also, someone in the chat suggested that there be a gigantic robot somewhere in the game.
That was a really good idea.
That would be the weirdest thing in the world, but it would be kind of the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me want to read up. I mean, it's a Kickstarter based game, so they got to have stuff on their site that sort of implies what their intended trajectory is, and I imagine that it's more than what's there, but it's tough because you didn't find a gun and I did, but neither of us ever built a trap, neither of us ever lit a fire. Also, neither of us ever got past getting like 3 stones out of the 23 that exist or something.
Right.
But so maybe we should go and look at some guys I'm amazing at the alpha stream or something, but it's tough. I don't know. Just are there going to be more types of guys? What's going to go ahead.
No,
Speak.
No.
Nick.
I think it seems cool. I feel like that there's a lot of potential there. Like while we were playing, it was like, man, it would be cool if this happened or this happened. Like it feels like
there's that stream we played for probably about an hour, and there were a few moments that were so thrilling and surprising that it's just if there's
just more density, they would happen more often, and that would be cool. I guess the problem they're going to run into is if you're being hunted all the time, it just doesn't make that feel special.
If you just ping pong constantly between guys,
which I assume is what they're trying to avoid. Probably their procedural thing, is going to make that hard to tune. They're probably in fact just also messing with the tuning of that.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah,
you can kill a robot, I think, if you get a gun. But then the question, are
when
those
you
guys
die,
respawning?
there's a stat that says robot slain. So,
right. But are there a finite number of robots on each island? What do they have? Weird pack hunting tendencies? When do they drop the scent? Like all these things.
I want a master hunting robot that just like actually tracks you. You know what I mean?
Horse robot for sure.
Yeah, a man on a steed. With a have a funny beard. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we've played this game kind of deeply enough to know, whether those things are speculative or true or whatever. But
it's just it's a game that I'm really glad someone is making though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
It also makes the chat on Twitch TV start every single line of chat with the word "sir."
Yeah,
it's true.
So
also, when I first started up the game, it said, "Madam, you are being hunted." And that's just what the name is called when you're a female character, and you can just swap.
Yeah, you can roll your gender.
Nice.
The game
I thought that was
name.
good.
Yeah,
That's
really
good.
It doesn't seem to have any other impact. It's just that funny title screen gag, which I thought was.
Oh man, good. the best thing in the chat was not a thing that happened, or the best thing in the stream was Nick's.
Oh, and then I guess the voice is different too. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Nick's wish for your wish for how the game should end is my favorite thing in the entire world. Which if there's no way it's ever going to happen, but basically, if when you collect all X number of stones, what you're actually assembling is a big fat fucking weapon that you can use then to turn on the robots.
Just the crazy Uber gravity gun from
Half-Life 2. It's basically the power pellet from Pac-Man, where the ghosts flip around and you can eat the shit out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then someone in the chat suggested that your guy speaks for the first time and says, "Sir, you are being hunted," to a robot, or you just hear one of the robots say to the other, "Sir, you are being hunted," and then the game is just you wrecking shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not what it is. I'm sure that you travel back in time to when there weren't robots, or you just get sucked away into a white.
What happened?
There's got to be something like that, or you get sucked up into a white screen where you're happy. But what if what you actually build is a robot gun?
Yeah, a rocket launcher that shoots robots.
That shoots good robots.
Right.
What if you're building a good robot?
Right.
That you then just get to watch run around and kill all the other robots?
Yeah. What if you actually work for Boston Dynamics?
Right, yeah.
And you're trying to just atone for all your past mistakes. But this time it'll be fine. We figured out what we did wrong the last time. Like the game just ends on a horrible note where you're like, We've worked out the kinks, and then just the foreshadowing is
just. Being hunted Terminator 2, but without the time travel, where Mr. Arnold is Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Arnold.
That's a different. Sorry, I'm like
Arnold.
That's why he's called Arnold.
What the hell's the name of the guy in Terminator 2?
I don't know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what you're thinking of.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
Guy who has his hand on the buzzer and goes. And then everything blows up.
Right, his arm is involved in a plot point.
He atones for his sins. Mr. fucking Cyberdyne.
Right, Mr.
It's Mr. Cyber. It's Arnold Cyberdyne.
That's his name.
Whatever. God. Thank God it's you. But then he blows up a factory. It's like that guy's life except without the benefit of time travel, where instead he has to atone for the entire Terminator, the rise of the machines, if you will, by way of just hunting robots.
Yeah.
That's Terminator 4.
Is it?
No, I think they're making that.
I think they are. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think Governor Schwarzenegger is back in.
Oh yeah, I really wanted to be in politics really bad, but then I was, and I was like,
I don't know. It's kind of fun when I was the Terminator.
Yeah, maybe I'll be that guy in the movie with a glowing eye who just blows things up on motorcycles.
Arnold Cyberdyne.
Oh my god, I hate that I don't know that guy's name.
Dyson?
Fucking Miles Dyson.
Danny Dyson.
No, it's not. Miles Dyson. Who's that? It's Miles Dyson.
Is it Miles Dyson?
Yes.
Weird. It says Danny Dyson.
No. You're making the sound that he makes when he kills himself.
What? What? Wait, what?
He does a little...
It just explodes. What? Okay.
You never... How are you? I don't know. It's Terminator 2.
Danny Dyson, or simply Dan, born in 1998, is the son of Miles and Teresa Dyson.
Oh, okay. It's the kid.
Yes.
Wait, born in 1998?
Born in 1988.
He goes, Danny, go back to bed, and then Danny goes away.
Yes.
That's Danny.
When does Terminator 2 take place? What year does
1997. No, isn't that? Yes. It's gotta be. No. 1997 is
that
when...
scientist guy is 9? He looks like he's 40.
Sir! That's his son. We gotta get our Terminator 2 continuity together. What are we talking about?
Video games.
So you're being hunted.
Terminator 2 for NES.
No, Judgment Day, I think, was in 1997.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Judgment Day was 97. They go back in time to 90... Well, it takes place in 92.
Yeah.
Which is when it came out.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's stop talking about this. Sorry.
Chris is so baffled that we're just continuing to talk about Terminator 2. What's amazing about this, if we're still actually on a podcast right now, is that Chris is checking timestamps, so probably not. What's amazing about it is we went through a whole cast of us, or at least 20 minutes of a cast, just trying to retell what happened in our Crusader Kings 2 stream.
And now we're doing it, but we're doing it with Terminator 2, which is something completely unrelated to video games or anything.
I think you'll find that it is completely related to every video game.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with Miles Dyson's death for a really long time because
it hits you hard, man, huh?
No, it's just the most. It's a notable.
It's such an influence on me as a video game designer.
Death. It's fictional.
Sorry, like there's this little stack of things that sort of exist in mid-90s things. That
whoa! There's some mid-90s things that Jake Rodkin is reside in a permanent location in your brain.
This sort of it's Miles Dyson holding the detonator in Terminator, going, and then it explodes. That is stacked on top of.
Can we make a supercut of this?
That in my brain is sort of stacked on top of Samuel L. Jackson's arm falling on Laura Dern, which is stacked on top of Krychek's wooden hand in the X-Files when he's dipping that thing into the tea.
Oh my
so it's just weird moments involving hands doing insane things, usually involving someone dying or being in horrible
can you start
pain.
90shand.tumblr.com, please?
That feels like that would be an amazing collection of GIFs of Krychek's hand going up and down, and then Samuel L. Jackson's hand repeatedly falling on Laura Dern, and then Miles Dyson's hand sort of pulsing while holding that detonator. God, there was a fourth one.
Please write in with additional 90s hands to questions@idlethumbs.net.
Oh my God, all of those. Oh, the other one is from Jurassic Park, which is not a hand in pain, but it's the tiny imperfections in the skin.
That's still a hand for sure.
Yeah. And that's because all of this, I think, is because of my friend Jared, who is obsessed with all of those things as well. But his Jeff Goldblum impression devolves into
the hand with
him doing the Jeff Goldblum laugh while then pouring the water off his hand, and then he starts doing the Krychek tea hand from the X-Files. And what are we talking about? I think we're talking about Sir, You're Being Hunted.
Oh yeah,
by Big Robot.
Anyway, it seems pretty good.
It's cool. It's a weird game.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Is it pretty good?
I guess.
It's
it's
really hard to know where the hell that game's going to end up, but the alpha is really interesting. And
it's interesting.
I think our stream takes a little bit of time to sort of get going because, Chris, you were trying to figure out what the hell was happening in it. But once a robot starts hunting us...
Yeah. The idea of playing a game where you are hunted is cool.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about that years ago.
More active hunting would be...
And said, man, it'd be cool if there was a game that was kind of like this game in concept. So
one of the things that I think was really key to that idea was that there is an intelligent hunter who's chasing you. And that might be out of scope for what these guys are trying to do because there's no sort of... That seems like that would need some sort of like tunneling or corridor something where you can like...
Yep. A boogeyman.
This doesn't seem to have the notion of just actively, completely going invisible.
A Time Lord robot that just appears out of a tree or something.
A Time Lord?
I don't know. Something. Well,
it's like Doctor Who?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm saying a robot that has some kind of power that isn't just walking from point A to point B.
Oh man,
okay. Yeah. But anyway, that's why the dog was exciting to me, because at least the dog was just tracking you entirely.
Right, like if there was a sort of master hunter robot, but it could only chase you for X amount of time before it had to then, it got powered down, but it was able to then go and would never forget what you smelled like or something, so then you knew that there was only a matter of time before that fucking guy was going to get you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he calls his friend the robot the size of 6 churches.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But anyway, regardless. This game's interesting.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
Miles Dyson.
Someone
in the chat did propose that Sir, You're Being Hunted is actually the sequel to the Idle Thumbs Crusader Kings stream, which I thought was valid as well.
Yes, the ruined hellscape of England that was planted in our stream. England has just been a disaster.
It's true.
In our world. It is constantly...
Speaking of weird hands, the current king of England... Or no. Oh, sorry. You're talking about England now. The current king of Ireland, though, is a weirdo.
Oh my God, he's a weirdo.
He is the hand.
Let's explain how this guy...
He is the weird hand guy.
Yeah, let's explain where this guy came from.
Yeah.
So, since our last stream, crazy bonkers shit has gone down.
Yeah.
Basically, the single most poignant moment in our playthrough to date occurred, which is when we finally succeeded in uniting the full island of Ireland. The moment we achieved that. The same day, the actual same day, King Sean's and his father's longest term friend, Ragnar.
Longest term frenemy. Yeah. I think those guys consider Ragnar their friend, but Ragnar probably has some
he wavered at times.
Some frenemistic feelings about that.
Sometimes he was in the negative, sometimes in the positive.
Yeah. Ragnar. He's had a complicated life, but I think a rich one. I think no one would disagree with that.
Oh, I interrupted you saying that he died.
He died. Yes, the day.
Oh, so he died.
He died the very day that Ireland became a united kingdom. Not the United Kingdom.
It became a United Kingdom.
Lowercase u.
When Ireland became a kingdom united.
Yes, right. And that was amazing. That was like...
Did you guys cry? Like, was there an emotional...
We basically cried. That was like... We came pretty close to like... breaking down.
I mean, I will say that it is probably the most surprising thing that's happened in a video game for me. I've never seen anything more surprising.
Mm-hmm.
That is just the confluence of those events.
Yeah.
Just extraordinary. You couldn't have... There's no way you could have scripted that.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that it happened down to that level of minute, like that you know...
Both dialogue boxes on screen at the same time?
Both dialogue boxes. This is a game that is simulated by day. So the odds of that are just astronomical.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like thousands of days have passed since we started this game.
Right.
You know, thousands of in-world days. Like, it's crazy. And also, it was only relatively it was not very long before that we actually designated Ragnar as an important person.
Right.
Without that, the game would have still died on that day, but the game wouldn't even have notified us. Yeah. It was really lucky that we had that enabled so that we actually got his death notification.
Yeah.
It was really the whole thing was like astonishing. It was totally bonkers.
And that happened in part, I want to say, I think 6.
I believe.
6 is the death of Ragnar.
I think that's the case.
Part 6 of the YouTube stream?
Part 6 of the YouTube stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're essentially the same thing.
We've named them correctly on the Twitch group as well.
Yeah, the end of part 6.
Yeah.
And then parts 7 through 9.
So what's this creepy hand?
Parts 7 through 9 we're getting there.
Part 7 through 9, we should talk about the Queen of France, who we killed.
Yeah.
But it was we don't want it was a strange web that we wove. But essentially we had a guy who could have been the King of France. We were banking on him.
Yeah. We went to the Crusades with I think with Brian again. I can't even remember honestly.
Yeah.
But it was the second Crusade.
Probably with Brian.
Yeah. It was the second Crusade, which resulted in a Christian victory.
Yeah.
And with like the weird overlapping French, Danish, like weird intertwined dynasties. I forget which one it was at the time, but one of those two took control of Jerusalem as a result of that after winning this crusade. And because we had someone somewhere in our extended family who was heir to
he was heir to the throne of Denmark,
and
which in turn was heir to the throne of France.
Yeah,
so we're like, all right. It's a strange chain.
It seemed like,
but essentially,
so if we kill the queen of France, like the French inheritance will like cascade down into our.
I think
reach,
what it was
hopefully.
is just briefly, like we needed to get that guy on the throne of Denmark before that the king of Denmark had a kid.
Yeah,
we were worried about Denmark first because we knew that we had to be on the throne of Denmark. We didn't care about France at the time, but in order to do that, we had to kill the Queen of France.
Yeah. So Nick, you came. So
I went a little wild
before this happened. Nick also, when I left the room, Nick sort of unilaterally decided to marry King Sean to a Nubian queen
named Xena,
who was actually a total badass. Like, she has good stats, and I think we made her our spy master for a while.
Yeah, she's still around too.
Yeah, no, she's still there. She's still hanging out.
She's cool.
So anyway, after that, Nick became Ahab, and the Queen of France was your white whale. Like that was like intense shit. You were like were really into that. So he launched an assassin. We first started plotting against the Queen of France. We took our son, who we intended to be the future Sean II, instilled him as our spy master, sent him to France.
That's your best man.
Yeah, well, no one will do. No, you can't trust anyone except your own family when it comes to killing queens of France.
Yeah.
So we sent him to France, to Paris, to plot, scheme to up our assassination chances.
Yeah.
I think we had a 20% chance of successfully assassinating the Queen of France.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we launched a plot which didn't really go anywhere. So we're like, all right, we're just going to go for like the full-on assassination, which is the all or nothing. That's the you succeed or you don't, and then you have a chance of being found out.
Right.
And so
well, in the course of the plot, the queen actually assassinated the heir that we had in our family. She actually, but this is before the thing you're thinking of.
Yeah.
She did, while we were plotting, she had a preemptive strike and took out Eric, the guy who was going to ascend to the throne of Denmark.
Right.
So she cut our legs out from underneath us.
Right.
And then it was on. Then it was just that's why I had the blood feud.
Yeah, that's why you had that look in your eye.
Oh, yeah.
So Nick launched an assassination attempt. It was a 20% chance of success. Failed. However, she did not know who it was.
But she knew.
Well, she was already suspicious, but in this particular case, the assassin wasn't caught, let's say. She had her suspicions clearly, but the assassin was not actually caught.
No proof.
So Nick was like, all right, let's try again. It costs 350 gold each time you try this.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So he's like, let's try again. Tried again. Failed attempt.
Yeah.
Assassin apprehended. Oh, shit.
Right.
Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Try it again. Failed.
Yeah.
Assassin apprehended.
You were stunned at this moment.
I was basically...
You were in shock.
I was completely in shock. I thought you were going to try it once and then say, oh, okay, whatever.
Right. Yeah, after the first one, you were just speechless.
The fact that you kept pushing the button, it seriously felt like you were actually going insane. Like the actual human being, Nick Brecken.
I was.
It felt like you were actually losing capacity for rational thought. It was really terrifying to watch.
It happened.
I thought you...
You had a lot of whiskey by that point, Chris.
That's true. We'd been drinking a lot. And fourth attempt.
Yeah.
We have, this is our last chance before we run out of gold entirely.
Yeah.
Failed. Does not succeed.
That's right.
Do not kill the queen.
Right.
This was like a disaster. This was the...
Yeah, we were out of money.
We were out of money. Our reputation was just shot. Completely destroyed. Right. We couldn't try again.
Well, yeah, because around the kingdom, they'd just be like, did you hear about the King of Ireland?
Yeah.
He said 4 assassins to kill the queen on the same day.
On the same day.
One after another, though. Not 4 guys.
Right.
It was 8 o'clock in the morning, breakfast, assassin failed. Noon, every meal she had an assassin.
She then imprisoned Sean, our son, the prince, our spy master hanging out in Paris.
Yeah.
She put him in jail.
Because
then Sean Vanneman, King Sean the First. Sean the Great, that's true. He was Sean the Great. Wakes up dead.
Wakes up dead.
He's suspicious accident. He's been poisoned.
He opens his eyes.
This was unbelievable. I couldn't. When this was happening. So
that was you, right?
That was our character. Yeah. That was us, the King of Ireland, the man who had, years prior,
so you made
unified.
You tried to kill the King of France
4 times,
and then something happened that made Sean the first Bannerman dead.
Yeah, Sean became dead.
Right, and but also his son is in jail in Paris.
Right,
the whole line is destroyed basically, because those were our 2 lords. The other people were just still learning. They still
Yeah,
they're Prince Sean's kids were I don't know.
So then, a new king, our new character, ascends to the throne.
Some 11-year-old kid.
Yeah, don't
even know who he is.
Yeah, he was not Sean, our intended groom, because we switched our succession laws.
Right.
Was that before or after this?
It was before.
It was before. Yeah. So, so we it doesn't even really matter because the point was the vassals had chosen a new heir, regardless of which type of succession it was. So we realize after
the kid gets installed,
this kid's installed, that we have a new cabinet that this kid has brought with him, who's a bunch of idiots, actually.
Yeah, they're a bunch of tools, just useless.
But crucially,
are they all 9, 10, 11-year-olds?
No, they're all adults, but they were just
fools,
dumb. We realize he has brought with him. We've inherited from him just enough gold
for one more roll to die.
Final assassination attempt. So we at this point, it's oh fuck! If we're gonna do this, we're going all out. We hire a new spy master.
That's right. We installed the guy. We got it up to 26%.
We sent the spy master back to Paris.
Yeah.
We got our chance of assassination up to 26%. At this point, it was just well, what do we even have to lose?
Exactly.
Our reputation's in the toilet. This is just a disaster. Our vassals probably all hate us. This is just a clusterfuck. We have a 11-year-old weirdo king Well, we didn't know he was a weirdo at the time.
Yeah.
Are we working our way to the hand?
Yeah. But
okay.
Click the button.
Yeah.
Queen of France is dead.
Yeah.
It fucking happens.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was pretty good.
We ended that night's stream at that point because that was just the most roller
out of
coaster.
control.
Yeah.
We thought at the time, actually, that we had... Because the guy who we were going to install as the King of Denmark, he had a kid or something. Mm-hmm. And we thought at the time that we maybe had Jerusalem, but it wasn't to be.
No. But
we're not doing too badly now.
I think that's in the long term. I think in the mid to long term, we can still get Denmark.
Yeah.
And possibly France.
Right. Yeah, no,
you can do this, you guys.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. No, we're in good shape now.
Yeah.
But we have this weirdo king.
Now we have a weird fucking king now. He's like 11, but he's always talking about how everything reminds him of death. Yeah. And he really enjoys torturing people.
He loves torturing people.
He just kind of muses on the cracking
Isn't
of
it funny how we'll all die someday? That's just a window that pops up.
Yeah,
just an event.
Of nothing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Isn't it strange?
Weird.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's a strange man. He's killed. Also, this kid, within his first, couple months of office, he killed 2 wives.
Right.
2 queens.
We killed the Queen of France twice. Again.
We killed the next
2 queens of France.
This 11-year-old kid. After King Sean the Great failed to pull this off.
Yeah. That kid killed 2 queens of France, and then France dissolved.
Yeah.
France is just exploded.
Yeah.
This kid just... nuclear bombed France.
I did what Sean could not, and then I did it again, and I did it again.
Right.
I'm just imagining this kid
cracking his knuckles, licking his palms.
Is his death interesting?
Yeah. I just imagine him as the total sociopath who just he's too young to have any real conception of mortality or empathy or anything, but he's been granted an enormous amount of power, so he has to vent some he has.
You know what, Chris?
Somehow?
There's a character just like this in Game of Thrones.
All right.
I imagine you guys are going to keep playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to.
We're gonna play this out until Ireland is no more, or Ireland triumphs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we're at war with Scotland now.
Yeah, Scotland declared war at the end of the last.
The last cliffhanger is that Scotland has started to invade. So we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're still allies with Denmark, so we're going to try and call in the cavalry.
Right. Yeah.
This episode, we don't want to. I know you don't want to talk about it, but there have been a fair number of streams since last week, actually, because there have been 3 Crusader Kings streams, the So You're Being Hunted stream, and then you also played
a little Shadowrun.
You played the new Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Which I know you didn't want to get into, but if you want to check that out, we also put that up. So
this stream exists.
This is the Streamcast week, apparently, because every video game we played this week might have been on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. Which is bonkers.
It's super weird, yeah.
It's been fun, though.
In this modern time.
Yeah.
It's also
we have a pretty good chat community at this point.
Yeah, it's really good.
I really like
everybody seems to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
you guys want to do some reader mail?
Let's do reader mail.
Okay. Sean Wenham or Venom? I don't know. He wrote us an email before.
Veneman.
He said right. He says,
my foot hurts.
Dear Thumbs, film is fantastic at depicting the romantic plight of lonely people. Games, however, are actually able to make the player feel physically lonely, e.g. the deserts of Journey, the deserts of Journey or the streets of Liberty City when you're not looking to commit any crimes. Do you feel superficially feeling something through a game is more meaningful than watching someone else feel it in a movie? Cheers, Sean Wenham.
Whoa. Interesting question. The feeling of loneliness, stronger in games or film?
I think it's a different kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
in a film, people feel lonely because of a reason, not because they are alone.
That's right. Totally.
They're lonely because they miss someone.
Yeah,
or
it's like romantic loneliness.
Yeah,
or it's something personal.
Yeah.
In games, I feel like it's almost like an existential loneliness.
Right.
Where it's like you're sort of contemplating the kind of abstract notion of being alone. Whereas in a film, it's like, oh, I relate to this because I've actually had some experience in my life that reminds me that this dredges up out of my memory. That can happen in games too, but I feel like in games it tends to be something more intangible.
Yeah.
I don't think either is better or worse, but they have a different character to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the more explicitly narrative a form is, the more you get to those kind of very specific experiences. which can be things that are, I guess, to some degree, kind of contingent on you having had similar experiences in your life to be effective, or at least something that can be dredged up.
Right. I mean, I guess there are films that play on that kind of loneliness. I'm trying to think of examples. I don't know if Terrence Malick or just scenes where they're just kind of building a specific tone of loneliness that is more spatial than character oriented. But yeah, I think generally speaking,
Tarkovsky film or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I guess there are parallels to some extent, but for the most part, it is different.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any thoughts, Jake?
Miles Dyson.
Yeah.
How lonely was he when he was about to push that button? Pretty lonely.
He was a lonely man.
Anyway,
I actually just don't know. It's a question that I would need to actually think about for a second. But I'm not. You guys answered it, I guess.
Yeah.
Just more meaningful is such a loaded two words.
That's
I
true.
think
it's true.
It's such a different kind of meaning of like.
Yeah.
I am feeling loneliness versus I am empathizing with a separate person on a screen who is lonely. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably more meaningful. I'm not saying which one is though.
Cool. I'm feeling lonely. On this podcast.
Why are you feeling lonely?
Because I read my old LiveJournal.
God damn it.
Why are you doing this?
What do you mean, why am I doing this? Why did you do that? That's the question. You son of a bitch.
Well,
what?
I gave you the opportunity. If you pressed it, I would have taken it out. You relented. You did. You were like, oh.
After much...
I didn't press you.
Pressing.
I said almost
pressed.
nothing. I didn't. I did not.
You pressed somewhat.
Not true.
You know what's funny about that, though? It did get me thinking about that time in my life and how weirdly game-oriented. Like, so what people found was some weird shit that I, like, participated in on AOL, which was just, like, weird, like, I don't know, like, chat room, like, role-playing garbage that was just... I know... I've talked to other people who had this experience, but, like, in the early days of AOL, there were just, like, weird... stupid things where you would just go in. It was like kind of like writing where you would just write like what your character was doing. But then there were also like game mechanics. There was also like D&D die rolls that you could throw down.
Was this like systematized? Was this like built into the actual?
This was community.
No, this was people doing it. Okay, yeah.
And there would just be like weird. There was like weird fiction that was revolving around it, and then there were message boards where people would like write longer short stories about like what occurred in the chat rooms and like. There was this whole strange community that kind of, it wasn't entirely gaming related, but there were game mechanics that were involved. I don't know. It made me think of that stuff. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that at all. I mean, I guess I just didn't run into that. I thought you were going to just going to bring up the general like concept of just going to a chat room. Do you guys remember that? Like that was my first experience of like going on the internet or like on AOL or something like that, as opposed to a BBS, which felt like a different thing to me. But just going into like an AOL chat room, and there's like a bunch of people in here, and you're just going to start talking. Like that's the thing I did in the 90s, and it always felt like everyone else in it was an adult, and I was like younger than everyone else. But I don't even know if that's true. Maybe they were.
You never know. But I will say that I was a 10-year-old pretending to be a 20-year-old.
Me too. That was exactly what I did.
I didn't
do that.
Oh yeah,
really
I totally did that.
I had a strange group of friends that thought I was 20 for like years.
Yeah, well, no, mine wasn't years, but I definitely had that isolated experience.
I
for sure.
never even passively pretended that I was a person that I wasn't.
It was fascinating. It was really interesting.
To me, it was just, I'm a big dork, and I think this is cool. I don't know anyone else in the world who thinks this is cool, so I have to imagine that the other people in here are kind of like me. Maybe they're a little cooler than me. Like maybe they're sort of people that I want to be. Like I can imagine them being cooler than me, but it was never like, these people have to be 10 years older than me because no one that I knew who was 10 years older than me used the chat room.
Right.
Well, I didn't know though. I mean, like, I have to assume some of them must have been.
I verified it.
How?
Because I talked to some of them on the phone eventually.
Whoa!
Hello.
Yeah, no, I kind of did that.
Bought your Darth Vader, like...
It was like 5 years
voice
later.
modulator.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. You went way deeper with that than I ever did. That's amazing.
Yeah. There's this group of girls. It was weird. Anyway.
For more, see next
Find Nick Brecken's AOL chat logs.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I tell them they exist?
No, it's all out there now. Whatever.
Those aren't, surely.
Yeah. No. God, they were weird.
They don't have records
AOL
of
was
that.
an interesting. Nah, they're probably out there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if AOL.
I played Muds on AOL.
Oh, well, not on AOL, but I played Muds.
Gemstone 3.
I played
Fantastic game, actually.
Ardwolf.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Gemstone 3. People should write in if they played
I also
Gemstone
didn't do any
3.
of this.
Hmm?
I didn't do any of this stuff.
Gemstone 3 was a really good game.
Was it?
Yeah,
My friends
it
were
actually
really
was.
big into Star Trek: The Next Generation bridge crew
Weird.
mugs.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Or muds. Mug.
Yeah.
What's
Mud.
a mug? Mud.
I don't know.
A mud. A multi-user
Oh my
dungeon.
god.
Yeah.
Ardwolf Mud. Ardwolf.com. It exists.
Mud.
Oh no, that's the crazy thing. Simutronics is a company that made Gemstone 3 and
Uh-huh.
they made this game that was about being a detective called Modus Operandi, I think. Which
I
was
approve.
Gemstone 3 but reskinned as just you land on
course.
this island and you are a detective. All those games were actually really interesting and good. I could talk about Gemstone 3 for an hour, but we're not going to do that.
We have to actually stop for a second because I
See
actually
you,
you guys
later.
can finish it, but please-
So you guys can talk about your nerd shit.
We're in the part of the podcast that I want to be talking about the most, which
Yeah,
is
I know.
esoteric AOL chat.
Yeah, I know.
room
I know,
muds.
it's true. We got to it, and then you had to go.
I have to run
Sorry.
away for a minute to
Go.
make this episode the best title thumbs that's ever existed.
Right.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
This episode is brought to you by the Favorites Group.
Yeah.
Clearly. This one of all of them.
This one is so badly
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I have to leave, which is really weird. Sorry. Goodbye, Idle Thumbs.
Bye, Jake.
We'll see you next
Hi,
week.
Jake.
These next two reader mails are going to be the best ones that have ever been on the podcast.
Oh, man. They're going to be so good.
I know.
This is the classic lineup.
These
What, me and Nick?
The Ragnar reader mail is about to occur.
The Ragnar of Reader Mail.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank God that guy's gone.
Fucking Jake.
Just, yeah.
Yeesh.
I don't know.
Video games
Worst
more like
part of
video
the podcast.
lames.
Yeah.
Because he's lame. And he likes video editing. All right, Andrew Campbell.
I'm glad that it just immediately turned into
Yeah, right. It's just the worst
fucking
podcast.
It just flipped the switch.
Oh God, what do I do? What do we do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jake not here. All right.
It's just the Wayne's World moment of Wayne going away and Garth being just okay.
Never saw that movie.
Oh, that's right. You never did.
I saw the Bohemian Rhapsody scene finally on YouTube like
Oh, that's right.
a week
you
or
saw
two
that.
ago.
You did-
Yeah.
yeah.
It was good. I liked watching them sing that song.
Yeah. The rest of the film,
It was entertaining.
not as good as that scene, to
Really?
be honest, but probably worth watching in a weird 90s way. Jake would, if Jake were here, he would urge you to watch that film, I'm sure. By the way, Wayne's World has never been referred to as a film until now. Watch that classic piece of cinema, Wayne's World, but not Wayne's World 2, the movie. Anyway,
Okay, so
what are we reading here?
hey Thumbs, this is from Andrew Campbell. I just started playing The Last of Us and didn't know anything about its music or sound production before starting. As the game loaded up and through the first poignant scenes, the eerie acoustic soundtrack reminded me of one of my favorite ambient soundtracks of all time from the movie The Motorcycle Diaries. I figured it was someone copying the style of Gustavo Santaolalla, but to my surprise, after the rough and tear-jerking prologue, the credit roll showed his name right there.
Oh, wow.
His music made a huge impact on my life at key junctures, and the choice of Naughty Dog to include him in the production of the game made it more emotionally powerful for me. Powerful. I feel like I'm losing my ability to pronounce words. It's really distressing.
It's
considering
happening to me
I do a
lately too, and I
podcast
think it's
every
because
week.
we're twitching so much. I think we're talking so much.
Just in a clipped, horrible way without thought.
Yeah, I think we're actually just developing a horrible
Yeah,
shorthand.
That's bad.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's really bad.
Anyway, to continue reading this man's email, has there been a time that you can recall?
Have there been time where
Has been time you recall, Can,
baby mail brought to you by
by a baby male, when the music of a game has dramatically influenced your overall feelings for a game? The music in The Last of Us made the intro sequence the most memorable of any game in recent memory for me. Thanks for the show. Keep up the goofy good work. Andrew C., Logan, Utah.
So the question
Sent for my iPhone. I'm not done. Sent for my iPhone 5 brand Apple produced 4G LTE smartphone device powered by Verizon. I can't even say anything. Powered by Verizon.
Oh man. Anyway,
I am losing it. Talk about
hover.com
babies. My
/
God. Yeah.
So his
I
question
actually like
is,
that. I really like the music in that game.
No, it's great. But his question is there a game?
Yeah, have there been times,
Have there been
similar
times
similar experiences to that for you, where the music of the game dramatically influenced your overall feelings?
Oh, well, yeah.
BioShock Infinite very recently for me. I thought the anachronistic music in that was like my favorite thing about the game. I thought it was incredible. In fact, recently I got into a kick of listening to a bunch of it, and I listened to the barbershop version of God Only Knows, the Beach Boys song God Only Knows.
Oh yeah, I know.
6 times in one day.
So
like last week.
Yeah.
It's just that's already a really fantastic song. And that's just a great arrangement of it. Yeah. And then we've talked about it on this very podcast, but the Girls Just Want to Have Fun Calliope thing, that was amazingly good.
Those two are just the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are games where the music has, affected the
Diablo 1.
I was just gonna say Diablo.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Diablo.
Yeah.
Grim Fandango for me.
Grim Fandango, yeah.
God, just walking around that street and listening to that music at the very beginning of the game, yeah.
God, that full throttle for me as well. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I with Grim Fandango, the puzzles were so difficult that I actually ended up as a kid walking around that same Act 1 street trying to figure out what to do. But it just the mood of it and the tone of it just felt so good. I didn't care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was out of control.
I loved the opening track in Full Throttle, like the decision to just license this weird obscure biker band was so cool, and that soundtrack was so amazing.
Yep,
combined with like the really weird pulled back Peter McConnell kind of like almost rock version of noir kind of stuff.
Yeah,
really really good.
Yeah, no, it's
really good.
Yeah, Hell March.
Red alert.
Yeah.
I would say Katamari Damacy is another one for me.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was that music really elevated that game. That's a great game anyway, but
I mean, all of That Game Company games for me.
God,
Journey,
Austin Wintory's soundtrack and Journey, out of control.
Wow.
It's gorgeous. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know. These are games that we've talked about before. We've talked about game soundtracks before. There are a lot of good ones. Surprisingly, I guess there are a lot of bad ones, but
but there's some really
music
really
is actually an area
ones.
of games where I feel like, there's still room for improvement on the overall, but there are a lot of games with good soundtracks.
God, we were talking about recently, very specifically, was the usage of music in Rockstar game trailers.
Oh yeah,
which
weird.
is like specifically is just incredible.
Yeah, no, it is. Like
they do such a good job.
The
Vice
Vice City
it's
trailer was the one we were. No,
we were talking about Tales from Liberty City.
Right. No, we specifically were talking about Gay Tony.
I know, but I looked it up, and it turns out it was the one that was the combination Gay Tony and Lost and Damned.
Okay.
That is an awesome piece of music. God, what song is it? I can't even remember.
We figured it out.
And we did, and I just can't remember.
I don't know.
But the
Miles Dyson.
Yeah, Rockstar does such a good job with those trailers. It's such a silly thing to say because that's basically just like a movie trailer.
Right.
But I feel like they, even more so than movie trailers, like most movie trailers, those guys just knock that out of the park all the time.
Yeah.
It's, not the ones where it's just someone weirdly reading an instruction manual for 10 minutes, but the ones that are cut, trailers that are cut excitingly. God, I watched the one, the Gay Tony / Lost and Damned one after after that conversation. The next day, I went and watched it like 3 times because it's just so cool.
No, it's really good.
Yeah. I really liked the Ballad of Gay Tony. I thought it was awesome.
I bought it and I think I played maybe a half an hour of it. I never.
Oh man, I thought the character Gay Tony was like an amazing character.
Yeah, he's a really good character
because it was so unlike what I would have expected from Rockstar. I would have expected just this like terrible gay parody, just stupid shit that they do all the time. But he had like shades of kind of stereotypical gay guy, but it was in the context of, I thought, like a really rich character who had this really almost sad, weird arc in his life of sort of coming of age during a sort of a different era of sort of popular gay identity.
Right.
Like obviously there's nothing monolithic about sexual orientation like during any era, but there's the kind of like tropes that get trumpeted during different eras.
Right.
And like, he came of age in the sort of like nightclubby 80s and seeing him come to terms with like the increasing just normalcy.
Yeah.
In the modern era, normalcy as like sort of, by which I mean just acceptance by society at large. Like seeing that from that perspective, as opposed to from like a straight perspective. I mean, your character you play is still straight, but I thought Tony was the more interesting character. Right. I thought it was a really clever choice, and it felt pretty different to me. Like, it was just, I don't know. You don't see that in a video game most of the time.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I want to go back and play that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yeah. I mean, most of the game was still just like you run around killing guys.
I know, that's why I didn't play it at the time.
It's still like just a Rockstar
because I
GTA
had just
game.
Played Lost in the Dam.
Yeah. I didn't get as into Lost in the
Dam.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know
that. Yeah, I didn't end. For me, it was the opposite. So I kind of lucked out, I suppose. Like, I kind of burned out and Lost in Dam pretty quickly. But like Gay Tony, I just found those characters, and like the character you play is this younger guy who's the actual guy who runs around killing everyone, and like his relationship with Tony, I thought was like really. Almost sweet in a way. Like, it was really like kind of almost adorable. Like the way that these two guys who could not be from more different worlds have this sort of like easy familiarity. I don't know. That's cool. That was really cool. Anyway, music.
Oh yeah, music.
I'm sure that game had all kinds of like hilarious, outrageous club music that was really funny when juxtaposed with all the absurd things you do in that game. Sure. Anyway, let's get maybe one more reader mail. Oh my God, Boston Dynamics. We can't read this without Jake being here. All right.
I was just thinking that.
That's next week. All right. Josh Bossy says, "Hey, Thumbs. This isn't really a question, more a declaration of absurdity. How are you guys not playing and discussing Dwarf Fortress in every episode?" That was a question. I won't proclaim to know your exact gaming taste, but after hearing your opinions on the procedural craziness that is Far Cry 2 and Crusader Kings, I feel like Dwarf Fortress would blow your goddamn minds. You like grenades rolling down hills? Well, then you'll love miscalculating water pressure and accidentally flooding your entire fort. You'll love it even more the next time when it's magma. Want to put Ragnar in power? You mean a drunken gardener who is simultaneously the cause and solution to every problem you ever face? That is literally a dwarf. You could have an entire fortress of little Ragnars, each with their own unique histories and personalities, whose features you can mold for better, but mostly for worse. It is an incredible game. I hope at one point you guys at least stream it and use a graphics pack. Anyway, love the show, Josh.
Done.
Yeah, we should do it.
We'll stream that. I've never played it.
I never have either, so
whoa,
get ready.
Really? I thought you had.
No.
Oh, crazy.
Well, no, I mean, I've dipped into it occasionally, but I don't know the game at all.
Oh, I've never touched it.
Yeah, I'm not. I've effectively never touched it.
Right.
After the conclusion of...
Yeah, in 2014.
Yeah, what's...
After the conclusion of Crusader Kings 2.
We got to power through this. I don't know how that's even possible, considering it seems to be getting more complicated by the year.
It's just unraveling. Well, yeah. Also, Far Cry 2.
Oh yeah, we got to stream in between these like.
Those are two solid like suggestions for our next games.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We've never streamed Far Cry 2. We started doing Idle Thumbs almost 5 years ago.
Absurd. Yeah.
We've talked about Far Cry 2 more than any other game.
Yeah, we've
clearly
never actually played it
on this podcast. We've never played it on the podcast, or we never played it on on a video for people to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe we're terrible at it now.
We probably are.
I haven't actually played that game in like more than a year.
Well,
at least
you're driving into a ravine.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
God, you know what we should do? We should play Far Cry 2, but like, is there a hardcore mode for Far Cry 2?
No, but we could
deem
there to be one.
Oh my God.
That would make that game
so
crazy.
Carefully.
Yeah, you would.
It probably
might not be worth it.
We
could think about it. We could think about the
like on easy mode, but if you die, it's over. Ugh, that would be too much. That'd be probably too much.
I can't wait to play.
But
that
I do feel like if you were restarting that game over and over again, it would get in the same way that Crusader Kings were not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that game kind of has already a good mechanism around that because of the buddy save system.
That's true.
So like you can play without save without save loading all the time.
Yeah.
But still rely on the kind of natural
and just kind of go wherever.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to people wandering into that stream who don't know Idle Thumbs very well and wondering why we're playing Far Cry 2 of all games.
Right.
And then schooling them.
Right.
And why it's the best.
Yeah.
Actually.
Right.
You may not know that, but it's true.
It's the best game.
It's pretty much the best game.
It's the GOTY of all time.
Yeah.
The game of the year of all time.
GOTAT.
It's
the GOAT.
That's what we'll say on the stream. This is the GOTAT. And then they will go away and watch Dota 2. They will just immediately turn off our stream.
They'll go to Sean's competing
Dota, Sean
Dota
Vanneman, twitch.tv/Sean Vanneman.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch Sean play Dota 2 on, Percocet. I think that would be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, cool. Yeah, we have streams coming up. Twitch.tv/idlethumbs.
Mm-hmm. You can subscribe
we actually have more streaming content than we have podcast content at this point. I don't know if that'll continue to be the case, but it is right now, which is, that's the thing that's happening.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you, for some reason, need more of our stupid...
Right, if you need to see our dumb faces in addition to hearing our dumb voices.
Shoved into your face. Yeah. All this and more awaits you.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.com/idlevideos and twitch.tv/idlethumbs.
Yeah. Also, if you just follow us on Twitter /idlethumbs, we tend to announce when we're going to stream.
Like 20 minutes in advance. We're figuring out how to work on that and make it a little more
it's probably never
usable
work,
to some. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
You can send us reader mail at questions@idlethumbs.net.
Send us reader mail, and if you have opinions on what we should stream or whatever, keep sending that too, because that's good. We would like to know what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm. Or you don't care about streams at all. You just want to.
Oh, right. We have this.
Send us questions about anything. That's the podcast that we still.
There's the podcast.
We love to do it. We love to stream a podcast or talk about it, record it.
Someday we'll also stream the podcast.
Yeah.
And the stream lord will take over.
Yeah, someday we'll just become Justin.tv, where we're all just walking around with the webcams on our fucking faces.
You mean Google Glass?
Except it'll just be a webcam looking into a computer monitor playing a game, which is streaming, and the webcam is looking back at us.
Oh, gross.
So our Twitch stream will just be the horrible mirror,
right. And then you'll go, sorry, I gotta go take the dog out, and then big dog.
And then it'll echo back and forth forever, and then you'll kill yourself, and then we'll kill ourselves.
And then Big Dog will walk by in the background. Sorry, I gotta go take the dog out.
It sounds like a razor.
Yeah.
Or a bee.
Right.
Like a swarm of bees.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest podcast. What is going on right now? What are we doing?
I don't know.
We should yeah. See you guys. See you on the internet playing Crusader Kings.
Sir, you are not ready.
Sir. God, what is that? What is that?
I don't know. What is it? Oh, God.
You know what I mean? What is it? What are you talking about? You're just saying sir.
Oh, whatever. No,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Hold on.
Is it Blues Brothers? God, what is it?
Sir!
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Anyway, in conclusion, you eat them.
Sir!
What is happening right now?
God damn it.
Sir!
I don't think that's a thing.
It's a fucking thing!
Of course it is!
God.
I don't know about of course it is.
It's a thing. No!
Sir! What the fuck?
What the hell?
Chris, it's a thing. In other news, you're making a mess. In other news, you eat them.
What is that? I can see the guy saying it. I can see his mouth opening.
Yep.
Sir!
Yeah, terrible. It's probably the fucking Muppet movie or something like that.
No. Oh, God.
Is it Ghostbusters?
No. Oh, my God. Oh, this is the worst. I need to know now. I have to know. This is honestly going to drive me nuts. Sir.
Is it The Marriage of Figaro?
No, it's Louis. It's Louis C.K.
Louis?
And then at one point, I remember I was at a drive-thru, and I was terrified because there's a lady sticking her head out a window, and she's mad. She's going, sir, sir. And I just kept saying, I don't know.
15 to 20 hours of Crusader King streams, some huge, just despicable number.